Cormorant Notes from Mason Regional Park, Orange County, California. Created June 30th, 2025. I'm Joel Weintraub, your host. I'm a recent resident of Irvine, California, living on the edge of Mason Park, and I've decided to make a series of natural history YouTubes on the park. This is video number 2. Number 1 was a Buick's wren dry bathing. Interesting species and interesting behavior. Let's look at the regional park. And here's a map you can download from the internet showing the main features of the park. We will discuss 2 species from the western part, the part with the large lake. Culver is the street that divides basically the western and eastern part. Eastern part tends to be undeveloped. Some information about the park. When it's open, when it's closed, there is an entrance fee. eBird, and you can look up what that is, has summarized many birders' observations of what's in the park and has come up with a summary of the yearly distribution and abundance of park bird species as a series of park charts, of bar charts. Now, you can see this here. Note that the double-crested cormorant can be observed throughout the year and usually in high numbers. Neotropic cormorant are much rarer and show no records in June, but this video will add that month to the species appearance. I have put this page of all the species on my iPhone by creating a shortcut, which can be done. It's a very useful feature. I'll put in the show notes, by the way, all the websites I use for this presentation. So there, at the bottom of the slide, you see where the bar charts are, and that will be in the show notes as well. So let's look at the Mason Cormorant roost tree. I'll use a Google Maps, a satellite view, and the green circle is where the roost tree is that's used by the cormorants. So let's look at ground views of this. There's the camera position. It's looking west toward the roost tree. And it's not the trees on the left. You can see on the very left there's a bridge there. It's not those trees, it's the ones farther to the right. Get a little closer to those trees. Now they're on the left of the slide. And here we have the cormorants in the early morning. Let's see how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 that are there. Here is the camera view looking north toward the roost tree. And you can see that the top of the tree is over the lake. Perhaps that's a factor in the cormorant's choice for a roosting site. A camera view looking south toward the roost tree. You can see it again overhanging the lake, and you can see some cormorants on the top. The few days I observed the roost, I just moved here, June 19th, there were 5 to 10 cormorants overnighting. The next morning they could leave early to parts unknown. They can stay in the tree for a few hours after sunrise. They could preen beneath the tree by the lake edge, or they could forage in the lake. In mid to late afternoon, there might be no cormorants in sight, or a line of sunbathing birds on the lake edge near the roost tree. Today, for example, about 12 o'clock, I looked out. I have a direct view of this, and there were 2 Neotropic cormorants on the edge. And now the time is looking around for a clock. I don't have a clock in front of me, but it's probably about 3 o'clock, and there are 8 cormorants there that are sunbathing now. So let's first look at the DC cormorants. I assume you know what a cormorant is, but I'm more concerned about comparing the 2 species with their field marks. And so here again are the 2 species. I'm using this as the title image as well. The double-crested is on the left. It has a large size head, bill, and it is larger than the Neotropic on the right. You can see its tail is short compared to the Neotropic. It has orange lures. Now, the lures of a bird are between the area between the eye and the upper bill base. It has an orange chin. We're going to repeat this when we look at the Neotropic Cormorant and add a couple more features. You can tell juveniles from adults in DC Cormorants. This is a juvenile. You can see that the front, the breast, the underbelly is a lighter color, and you wouldn't see that in an adult. And here is an adult DC Cormorant. Now, I was lucky to be able to see one of the food capture episodes of these double-crested cormorants, and I want to show you that. Hope you're not squeamish. The fish presumably are a primary food source for cormorants, but I really have yet to see any large fish in the lake. In fact, I haven't seen any fish in the lake. It's not stocked except perhaps with mosquito fish. Fishing is not apparently allowed in the park, except for these birds if they can find fish in the park. And so on June 15th, a DC was making a ruckus in the water by the fountain. There's a large fountain in the lake. And I took pictures and video and thought in the field, looking through the camera, that it had gotten a fish. But that's not a fish. What is that? What do you think that is? And there it is, positioning it to swallow. That's something to swallow. That's probably a bullfrog, an invasive species that eats native vertebrates. So it's actually doing a good deed for the park. You can see that the fishing bird is very active. I think it's trying to position the bullfrog in the right position to swallow it. This video is being done by a Nikon B700 camera, and it's being hand-held. It's a heavy camera. I also observed the cormorants thermoregulating. It's quite a spectacular event looking at them. They have a gular fluttering behavior that evaporates water and lowers their body temperature. Figure one, they just get out into the sun. So I'm going to show you a video of that where they are lined up underneath or actually to the right of the roost tree. And you can see the fluttering of the throat area. I think these are all double-crested cormorants. We'll move all the way over there to the right. Lots of Canada geese in the park. And these two are doing this gular fluttering. This video was taken at distance. I measured it on a Google map, and I'm shooting this 500 feet away using the Nikon B700. I also got photos of the double crests doing their spread wing behavior. I thought they are drying their wings. The fountain, there's a big fountain, is a little bit beyond this to the right, so they may be getting some water spray as well. Let's turn our attention to the smaller species, the Neotropic Cormorant, and look at the same sorts of differences. So here we have a smaller size individual. So it has a small head, small bill. Its tail is proportionally longer. It has gray lures, so the only color is actually below, around the lower mandible, the chin area. And it has a yellow-orange chin. Now, One of the field guides said that the double crest has an orange chin and that the Neotropic has a yellow. But I see enough orange there that I'm going to call it a yellow-orange chin. And this idea of size, Ken Kaufman indicates that it's smaller than the double-crested, but it's hard to judge except when they're together. So sometimes it is difficult to see just by size alone if you have no comparisons. There's also two other features that are put in field guides, although you probably will have to have a good optics to see this. You see that there's a whitish area on the right, which is our Neotropic, kind of a V on its side on the posterior end of the bill. Also, the yellow-orange, going backward toward the head is pointed. Now, that doesn't look that pointed, very blunt point, but you look at the DC Cormorant on the left, and it's more rounded where that orange is. So that's also been pointed out as a possible field mark. The Neotropic Cormorant, in terms of Orange County, is a relatively new species. It's usually associated with southern U.S. states, the Caribbean, and Latin America, but it has made inroads into the United States and into Southern California. The first record in Orange County from nearby San Joaquin Wildlife Sanctuary, and that may be where some of my roosting cormorants are going, that's in Irvine, what occurred on October 7th, 2019. And I got that information from the Orange County Birding Message Archives. So here's a view of, I think it's a juvenile, because it has very light coloration. And another one. Now, it was sometimes difficult to photograph these. These were backlighted a lot, and also in early morning. So I manipulated the exposure of the camera. So I didn't do this after I took the picture. I did some of this before. They have great flexibility of their neck, and you can see the bird is looking basically behind us, looking at me. Also, I had some photography of it yawning. And you can see the flexibility of the upper mandible, the upper bill. The adult plumage is much darker. On June 28th, not only was there a juvenile there, but there was what I call an adult. And the colors are very different, but it depends on the light, the impression you get of the colors. The juvenile was kind of a little grayish, light front, while the adult is a little darker. And there they are together. And they exhibited play behavior. So I looked that up on Google search, and there was a AI overview that says Neotropic cormorants exhibit play behavior primarily involving object manipulation. Both juvenile and adult birds have been observed, and you will see this, playing with sticks, leaves, and other debris, both on land and in the water. In the water, they also engage with live or dead fish, repeatedly grabbing and submerging the object and even tossing it in the air. Maybe that double-crested cormorant with the frog is also exhibiting play behavior. So this behavior for this species is considered a form of object play, potentially aiding in motor skill development and foraging practice. So lots of play behavior using objects, and I'll show you a video of this. Now I am closer to these birds, maybe 15 feet, 20 feet away. But it's difficult to take pictures here close to these birds because Mason is just filled with Canada geese. And just when you think you want the space, along comes one of them to spoil the filming. So my pictures were taken with a Nikon B700 that's been a discontinued camera, and a Nikon P1000, which has also been discontinued, and a new model is on the market. Just differences minor, something about USB ports. They're super zoom cameras and they're mostly handheld. The video is only from the P1000, all in bird mode, taken in June 2025. The video and pictures have not been manipulated except for some cropping. Many of the subjects were backlighted or taken early in the morning, and to overcome poor light conditions, I did adjust the exposure while filming, not after the pictures were taken. So this has been another of my JDW talks. I have YouTube talks on genealogy topics, census resources, Ellis Island, immigration, and naturalization. In fact, I'm well known for my genealogy research. Also, I have about half of the YouTubes on natural history topics, virtual birding field trips, birding optics. In fact, the YouTube video that has the most viewing is about a binocular workshop, and California and Orange County birds. And then I have miscellaneous videos, novelty zithers, biology songs, and in the moves that I've made the last couple of months. I had to disassemble my IKEA daybed, and that is now 7th in popularity of the YouTube videos. So get out and watch not only birds by identifying them, but look at their behaviors as well. Go online, learn more about what other people have said about that, and I hope you enjoyed this second in a series of notes of natural history notes of Mason Regional Park in Irvine, California. Bye-bye.